Thank you, Chairman Kelly, for holding this very important hearing and for your thoughtful statements and your leadership. This really provides the committee the opportunity to conduct our responsibility of oversight and providing the transparency and safeguarding the public interest, which the public is hungry for. They like to see transparency, and frankly, Commissioner, I appreciate your being here and your willingness to participate in that transparency. I think it's an important step and give us great confidence. Unfortunately, properties across all of our federal agencies are underutilized. The Chairman referenced the hundreds of square feet and hundreds of millions of square feet and the thousands of buildings, but they're underutilized, amounting to a substantial waste of resources and operational inefficiencies. Last year, the Government Accountability Office released a report which found that a majority of federal agencies reviewed were using only 25% or less of their headquarters buildings' space. Additionally, in 2023 alone, federal agencies themselves reported over 5,000 buildings as either underutilized or unutilized altogether. While these recent numbers are shocking, it's not a new problem. In 2003, the GAO placed the management of federal buildings on its high-risk list due to the high financial cost of underutilized space and the complex, seemingly unworkable process of actually disposing of these properties. Put more simply, like most things, the federal footprint is too big and it's nearly impossible to shrink. Recognizing the issues surrounding disposal, Congress, as the Chairman said, passed the Federal Asset Sale and Transfer Act, which was signed into law in 2016. To save taxpayer money, it aimed to streamline the disposal of unneeded federal buildings, land, and structures. After completing the first two rounds of disposals, the Public Buildings Reform Board, the PBRB, identified numerous challenges impacting FASTA's overall effectiveness. So we have an overall ineffective way to dispose of ineffective buildings. I partnered with Chairman Kelly, as he said, and introduced legislation to address these outstanding issues and help facilitate a successful final round. This legislation recently advanced out of the committee, and I too want to thank Chairman Kelly and his staff for their incredible efforts on this critical issue, and many of our colleagues on the committee and elsewhere. The Inflation Reduction Act, as the Chairman mentioned, which I did not support, provided over $3 billion for the GSA to carry out various climate initiatives. The idea of spending taxpayer money greenifying empty federal buildings comes across as a head-scratcher, to say the least. An empty building is already a waste. Adding new windows and a heat pump doesn't make the equation better. So we need to be very targeted with those dollars. As the PBRB stated in its interim report to Congress earlier this year, the per-person carbon emissions from heating and cooling nearly empty buildings are indefensible. Forcing agencies back into the office to utilize its space or alternatively disposing of this unused space could provide significant emissions reductions. Yet, this administration seems more interested in pressuring small businesses and the private sector to make changes while they themselves fail to take any meaningful action. The current practice of spending billions of taxpayer dollars each year to operate federal buildings, regardless of their utilization, must come to an end. And I remain committed to working in a bipartisan way on this committee to find solutions because this problem cannot go unaddressed. I understand more than 50% of GSA's managed leases are set to expire by 2027. And I encourage the agency to take full advantage of this opportunity to right-size the federal real estate portfolio. In fact, I just think it'd be derelict not to. I think we all need to do that, I think, as Congress and as agencies. In fact, with the several recent Supreme Court decisions on major questions doctrine and Chevron doctrine, realizing that the bureaucracy has gotten way beyond its constitutional and legal authorities, maybe this is a good time to find lots of ways to reduce the need for those buildings even further. So I thank you, Commissioner Dooms. I really mean it when I say I appreciate your being here, appreciate your openness to all of this. And I very much appreciate your background in the Congress of the United States and working on these issues long before getting to where you are today. I think it makes you uniquely suited for this job. And I look forward to today's discussion.